Welcome back to the Diet Doc Life Mastery Podcast. I'm Dr. Kori Propst here with Dr. Joe Klemczewski.
Stumbled a little bit there. I thought you were going to introduce the wrong guy there. Who am I with?
Are you Joe? It was like I was trying to do this for effect. Like if I slow down, then people lean in. Like I don't know.
Dramatic pause.
Macro mastery today, and we're discussing keto. Oh,
Yes.
Joe, there's so many things we could say about keto from the research and just from personal experience maybe, and what our clients, the questions they're asking about it. I know you today though really want to kind of dig into when we can use it and when it might be appropriate, because go ahead. Your role. I can see your face. You're like, ah!
Yeah. I was just shocked a little bit this week in that I found somebody who is doing keto for what I would say are the right reasons and executing it well, which is one of the biggest pitfalls of keto. Is we know that all the research that compares different diet methodology shows that it's the least sustainable. It's the one that promotes the most binge eating.
Well, and so Joe, can I pause you for a second on that note too? There isn't any long-term research on keto to show long-term positive effects. There's short-term positive effects, but we just don't, there isn't anything in the literature as far as I know that long-term studies have shown that it's actually a beneficial way of eating.
Yeah, I think if you go out into even just anecdotal evidence, most people are truly managing their carbs better. They're in a lower carb lifestyle, but meaning really looking at overall calories. And they may end up, having some slips, or they calculate a little bit of carb when they need it. So they kind of wander in and out of being completely keto adapted physiologically. But this is a person, like I said, who knows the game, knows how to diet, and just feels like she does better on lower carb. And it goes into something I posted today about, there's a true benefit to sometimes being a novice and trying something for the first time, because you think, okay, I want to have the real experience. I want some authenticity. So I'm going to do this how you're supposed to do it. And that's the place this person is. She is actually getting ready for her first competitive physique sport endeavor, and going in strong, wants to win, wants to do well. And like I said, she's dieted before, and she just always felt a little hungrier, or anything that we would all experience and feel as normal. But like many people, she was just captivated by all the promises that ketogenic dieting brings to the table. So she thought, I'm going to try it. And because she does have that student mentality of, I'm not going to try and beat the system, I'm going to actually just submit to the system and do this. She has ended up losing close to 20 pounds over a slow process, 6 months. And she's kept her protein down to the RDA type level. And she's getting enough carbohydrate in the form of fibrous carbs to monitor her GI system and make sure everything's fine there. So I hope I'm laying the groundwork to show you that she's being responsible and making sure she's doing things for her health. And then her fat level, out of maybe 1,300 or so calories, is around 80 grams a day. So you're looking at 50 to 60 grams of protein, 30-ish grams of fibrous carbs, 80 grams of fat. Has her meals mapped out into 4 per day. So she's getting approximately 15 maybe grams of protein per meal, about 20 grams of fat, maybe 10 or so grams of fiber. So again, just really balanced, smart execution. And the results are stunning from a perspective that, genetics aside, she does have great genetics, a lot of muscle, just paper thin skin on her abs, vascularity. She feels solid in terms of energy. Like anybody at that body fat level who's been in a calorie deficit, it's not amazing, but really just doesn't have the complaints. You know, she's not binging. She's not throwing out rescue signals that I'm dying, I can't do this. It's just, she's rock solid across the board. She's doing it.
So when you say she's getting excellent results, what variables are you basing that on?
The fact that her goal is to get as lean as she needs to be.
And that's happening.
Feel like it's sustainable. And also, some of this, again, is totally dependent on her genetics, but she's also not losing a ton of muscle and that kind of thing yet. And this is where, like you said, long-term keto, there are definitely some reasons why I'm not a fan and I would never stay in keto. But here is an interesting observation, at least interesting to me, that somebody, at least for an acute time span, who said, I at least want to experience this and see what it's really like.
Right.
She gave it a shot, a legitimate opportunity to see what the whole experience would be like, and is not just diving in and out, like I said, and kind of just complaining about the process. She knew it would be difficult because she's not been able to necessarily achieve the goals she wanted with conventional dieting methods.
For physique competition in particular?
Yeah, and working with her, and she actually has a husband / coach who has been helping her up to this point. They reached out to me just for an extra set of eyes and somebody who could help them, through the peaking process. And what's interesting is they were both saying, look, we're students of this just as much as anybody, and we're perfectly willing, if you think for the final best outcome on stage, if we need to make some kind of transition to more carbs, if whether that's now or next month or the month after for the next shows, we're here to learn. So whatever you think. And that's just another really good attitude, I think, to have, because they wanted to try this, they wanted to experiment, they want to see if it brings that promised value, but they're also willing to say, if it doesn't, I'm willing to pivot again.
Yeah, I love that you brought that piece up, Joe. I was thinking as a coach, and I think a lot of coaches can, they're very staunch in, this is how I train people, or this is the type of diet that I ask people to move into. And some of them are very anti-keto. But like you've indicated, it can have a purpose. I think where we can get into this place where, well, if it's not long term, if they can't do it forever, then we're not even necessarily going to consider it for a short period of time. And so they're open to doing whatever is going to be most beneficial, which is awesome. I'm curious from your perspective, because she's used to eating more carbohydrates and less fat, right? When the competition is over, what do you anticipate?
Well, interestingly, she went through this phase where she had been around 110, 115 pounds, and she felt like her metabolism was just a little bit sluggish. She was quasi-lean, not contest lean, healthy, probably at her metabolic set point or around it. And she just felt like to begin dieting, it would only be harder. And so her and her husband decided, let's spend some time gradually building a calorie base. Let's see how high we can get your calories without adding that much body fat. And so she did create some boundaries as far as how much body fat I'm willing to concede. So she gained 8 or 10 pounds. And she moved her calories from around 1,400 up to over 2,000, almost 1,000 calories more. And of course, there was some body fat gain, so that her true metabolism didn't increase. You don't change your DNA, but functionally, with a higher food level and a growing body weight, she was able to consume more food. Now, if she stayed at 2,200 calories for another 18 months or 3 years or 5 years, now she'd be 200 pounds.
Right.
So again, there's only so much you can do for your metabolism, and it's really acute change that you're after. So knowing that, I hope they knew that, you know, they got her up there, they got that acute elevation of her metabolism, and now they felt like, you know, we can now start dieting more effectively. But of course they have to work through the 8 to 10 pounds she had gained.
Right.
So by the time you get down there, do you really have any benefit to what you gain? Maybe, maybe not. Again, we're looking at an acute change. And so through this diet process, she's where she wants to be. She's lean enough. She's done it with keto. I think they're both aware that they're not going to live like this forever. So how, to your point, Kori, do you introduce carbohydrates without, you know, adding all that body fat that you don't want?
Right.
And so my goal is we have a contest coming up where we still want to get a little bit leaner. So we're going to pretty much roll into it with keto, maybe even increase protein and fat just a little bit, just to make sure she's not as flat. And if we do any carbohydrate for peaking, it's not going to be, oh, hey, we've been keto and we're just going to wait for that last meal the night before the show or the morning of the show and eat, 8,000 grams of carbohydrates. I mean, it would just destroy her in so many ways. So if we use any carbohydrates, it could be 10 or 20 grams that just do everything in the world she needs, and then we're back into dieting. But as we get toward another contest and she's lean enough, we may have already pulled completely out of ketogenic dieting, because ultimately that's what you want. And I've done this with so many clients. You know, we've had this topic covered on so many podcasts, but I've had clients who have been keto on 0 grams of carbs, 200 grams of fat.
Yeah.
And by the time they get as lean as they want to be, and we get their carbohydrates up to 200, 300, 400 grams a day without any body fat gain, I've doubled people's calories. I've helped them increase their lean body mass, measurably, just because of the return to carbs. But it's very incremental. It's very careful with body fat regain in mind. And then again, you have to decide at that point, now you've got your calorie base where you want, your body composition has stayed where you want. So do you continue just to stay a little bit lower on carbs, taking some of those out when you need? I don't think anybody wants to ever dive back into ketosis. But I know a lot of people in that lifestyle still think they are or think they have to. I know many of them, kind of binge and purge, but I really think once you've accomplished that goal, coming back out, you can get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and I think, what I'm gathering, Joe, too, is this is why it helps to have a coach to just know what to do next. Because if you do just dive into the deep end of carbohydrates again after a stint of keto, it's not going to be a fun experience. Just like automatically diving straight into keto, and sometimes it is beneficial to take a little bit more of a methodical approach. Would you agree?
Well, think of your dieting experience, and I would finish with this. Keto can be a really nice challenge. If you want a gut check, see if you can do it and do it well, like the client I'm describing, because there is value if you're working on improving your health. We've talked about induction phases that some diets include, like Atkins, or some kind of a fast or quote cleanse. A lot of that is just to kind of clear out as much garbage out of your system as you can. Get LDLs way down, get your blood sugar under control in a pretty aggressive way. And then if you can do that, then the core phase of dieting can be much easier. So I know for me, for example, right now, if I decided, hey, it's that time, I'm going to start a diet, and I just went all in to eating as super clean and healthy as I could. If I eliminated all carbohydrates, you better believe I would have massive health indicators improve, including, how I feel, and, hunger aside, there would be parts of my life, energy, daily being that just improved dramatically. So my point is, it's brutal. It's so
different.
And you have to go through a major physiological shift. I don't recommend it for hardly anybody. if at all, as a first option. But some of the health values that you read about, and the reason why it stays in pop culture is because it is super effective acutely. There's probably a 99.9% washout rate of people who fail miserably and end up with some health issues. But if you're going to do it, and this is my point to this episode, do it right, do it well, make sure you're paying attention, supervised if necessary, and see if you can get the benefits you want, but know when it's time to exit properly.
Okay, final question.
Okay.
People want to do this and do it well and do it properly. What are the percentages of the macronutrients that are optimal? Or is this, like many things, a little bit different for each person?
Well, I think the way that this particular person did it was perfect in that the protein level, protein could have even been a little bit lower to be pure keto. So this is slightly modified there. She's really at probably 1.5 times the RDA in protein. But again, she's lifting, she's doing cardio, she's in a steady calorie deficit. So I think that's okay. And then enough fibrous carbohydrate to keep the GI system healthy, and then the rest would be fat per your weight loss pace goals. So the energy balance, the amount of calories that you really need, is the biggest question. And then I think there's even some fluctuation points you could have on even carbs, Kori. Like let's say for GI health, somebody really needed just a little bit of starchy carbohydrate just to create a better stool. What if they had 15 grams of carbs from a quarter of a cup of rice at lunch with their salad? I'm not sure that would take them completely out of ketosis. They never may reach the nth degree of ketogenic adapted state, but I still think you can be so close to that it wouldn't matter.
And she's not monitoring her ketones in any way to see if she's there.
I don't think so. I mean, she's just, this is the plan. This is the system. I'm just in head first, and I'm staying there till I get the physique I want.
All right. Well, thank you, Joe.
And that's that work ethic that this kind of thing takes. And for real dieting, that's that new experience, humble student. I'm willing to learn. I'm going to do whatever it takes mentality.
And just being open to whatever happens, because she doesn't necessarily know what to expect. And having your support and the support of it sounds like her partner, and that would be crucial too. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Kori, for entertaining my topic today. And anybody watching, listening, if you have questions on ketogenic dieting, let me know. We also have a contest prep university podcast that I do under our Diet Doc banner with Adam Atkinson. So a lot of information on technical, aggressive dieting like this over in that category. And guys, check out our blog on our website, thedietdoc.com/blog. All of these podcasts are housed there, but we have hundreds and hundreds of articles too on mindset, on motivation, on nutrition, on dieting, on weight loss. You can probably find everything you need there. But thanks for listening. Back in the days when people still were okay reading, our communication director just reminded us that we had. Do you guys know you have 700 articles on this stuff on your website? He's like, you're prolific. Yeah, well, people should read that stuff. All right. Well, Joe, thank you very much. Thank you, Kori.